that we just could not do. What happened after the Great Chicago Fire is people just dumped rocks into the river and landfilled in the river. There was a very, very colorful figure by the name of George Streeter. He ran his boat aground on the north side of the river, right over here on Superior, and the sand and silt. And instead of being like most people and trying to get your boat off of that, he just left his boat there and let the silt and the sand and the debris collect around his boat. Well, after a while, the landfill kept growing and growing and growing. And he realized that he was significantly beyond the legal boundaries of the city of Chicago. So he declared that all of this land, the landfill, was now his, and he created the United States District of Lake Michigan. He then went and sold deeds to unsuspecting citizens for land on his landfill. Needless to say, the city of Chicago did not like that, nor did the local business leaders. So George then entered into a battle for quite a number of years to get control of that landfill. And the city would periodically confront him even physically, at which point George would take a shotgun and chase them off. His heirs tried to keep it going for another 2 years, and then finally in 1928 it was officially declared to be part of the legal boundaries of the city of Chicago. George did have the last laugh, however, because this area of the city is now known as Streeterville. So he got the last laugh by having his name on an area of the city that's known for its luxury condominium buildings, hotels, and restaurants. Now, this tall building with the little last bit of construction on it is about to be opening in 2027. That is 400 Lakeshore East. It's the first of 2 towers that are going to be standing right next to each other. They are going to be rental properties. They just started leasing over this past weekend, and they're going to be beautiful additions to the skyline. But emerging just past them on the left-hand side is a bronze and glass curving-shaped building. This is Lake Point Tower, which was completed in 1968 by Shipwright Heinrich. They are the only privately owned building that was ever built east of Lakeshore Drive. Those developers found a loophole in the city's code, and guess what? Allowed them to build where that building is. City leaders realized it and quickly closed that loophole. So that's the only building you see that is privately owned east of Lakeshore Drive. They were also folks who believed in the idea of a city within a city. This building now has the requisite daycare facility, offices, retail, shopping, dining, you name it. It's all got it there. Their amenity, though, is its own 2.5-acre park with a duck pond and a water feature. So, a very pretty little building out there. Their way of dealing with the wind issues, though, getting up at the 10th way, they chose the shape of the building specifically because of the way it broke up wind. So there are no buildings next to it, in front of it, or beside it to break up the wind. So the curved shape of the building is what keeps the wind from swaying that building too much. If you go just a little bit further past that building, you'll see the beginnings of Navy Pier. There are 2 little towers at the beginning of it, and then of course the giant Ferris wheel that's out on Navy Pier. If you don't know, the Ferris wheel was invented here in Chicago in 1893 for the 1893 Columbian World Exposition. So Navy Pier has a very colorful history itself. It was originally entitled Municipal Pier. It was completed in 1916 by a gentleman by the name of Charles Frost. It was intended to receive ferry passenger traffic from the lake, ferries, as well as freight traffic from the ships on Lake Michigan and the other Great Lakes. It had a really interesting history during World War II when 60,000 naval aviators came out here and practiced takeoffs and landings on 3 or 4 months of extreme drought conditions that were going through this area. You have fire department.
Turn left onto West Wacker Drive.
That's because the next building was also a building done by KPF. It's the green glass building. This is 333 West Wacker, Torrey Pedersen.
Head east on Ogilvie, Union, Ill, LaSalle, Clark, Ill. It's about 800 feet to your next turn.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because that, yes, is the building that Ferris's dad worked in. This is a great example of that contextualism we talked at the beginning of the tour. Contextually, again, is how well a building fits in with its surroundings.
Head east on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, LaSalle, Clark, Ill.
Note how
It's
the
about
building
1,000
curves
feet to your next turn.
very nicely with the curve here of the river. Also take a look at the glass on the building. You'll notice that there are two shades of green glass in this building. That is an intentional nod to the two different colors of green water that you find on the different stems and branches of the Chicago River.
Yeah.
It is personally one of my favorite buildings in the entire city. of
Head toward
Chicago.
West Wacker Drive. It's about 240 feet to your next turn. In 200 feet, turn left onto West Wacker Drive.
Confluence part of the river, and this is the part of the river where the main stem, which we've been traveling on, meets up with the north and south branches of the river. So directly behind me, you should be
Head northeast on Ogilvy,
very tall
Union,
building
Ill,
that looks
LaSalle,
like a
Clark,
spire
Ill.
at the top of the building.
It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
At the bottom of the building, and there is a vibrant red sculpture in the front of it. This is River Point. It was completed in I'm sorry, it was completed in 2017 by
Head northeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, LaSalle, Clark, Ill. It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
Red constellation sculpture, its name is Constellation, is a figure, it is a piece of work done by the Spanish architect and artist by the name of Santiago.
Head northeast on Ogilvy,
What's
Union,
also interesting
Ill,
to know about this
LaSalle.
building is the
Head northeast on
you see
Ogilvy.
that there's a cream-colored base with round porthole windows on it. Those are not just decorative. Everything on that side of the building is built, that side of the river is built over active railroad tracks. So it presents, needless to say, a number of challenges.
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue,
So
Ill.
those portholes
It's about a quarter mile to your next
at the
turn.
base of the building, they're not just decorative, they actually hide exhaust fans to draw out the diesel fumes from the trains. Because if you didn't have that, those fumes would go up into the building and you might asphyxiate the folks that are in that building. So it's a good thing to have those. The next building we're going to talk about is also on the left-hand side. It's that pinkish salmon-colored brick building that has arched windows at the top and round windows just underneath this. This is the Fulton House. Fulton House was completed in 1898. It was
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
Processed meats and vegetables and fruits in that building that they would then ship over to the railroad tracks, and they would go out across the country for them. The building was insulated by matted horsehair and cork. They went to redactively reuse the building in 1981 and converted it into condos.
Head south on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
And some of the balconies, you can see how thick the walls are in this building. So I can only imagine how quiet those condos would be. So if you're looking for a very, very quiet place to live, I might recommend this building. The next one that we see right after this pink building is a series of 4 small townhomes that were also done by Harry Reese, who was the one who did the adaptive
Reese,
reuse
kita yang
and
mulai
storage
tenang,
facility. He was a sailor and loved the idea of anything nautical. So when you look at this building, you'll note that the roofs on all these little townhouses almost have a sail feel to them, and there's portholes throughout the design.
Head south on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about half a mile to your next turn.
They don't go up for sale very often. The last one that we found public records on was sold in 2015 for $2.2 million. Those are townhouses, yes. So they're not
Townhouses.
I think the smallest one is 2,500 square feet, and the largest is up to
Head toward North Kingsbury Street. It's about 800 feet to your next turn.
Now on the right-hand side, you are going to see a tan and blue building here with the words East Bank Club at the far end of the building. This building is one of Chicago's premier luxury fitness clubs. It was completed in 1979 by Gordon Lynn. When this building was first put up, there were no windows on this side of the river. Why?
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about half a mile to your next turn.
Out here, but a lot of industry and a lot of waste was dumped into the river, so it was not an attractive site. when they did a renovation of the East Bank Club in the 1990s, they added the windows on this side. But I want you to contrast that with these beautiful red brick townhomes across the river, which are the Kinsey Park townhomes. The Kinsey Park townhomes were completed about 25 years later. And now, in the space of about 25 years, look at how much the river has changed. You have now made the river an amenity, and it's part of your front door decoration. So there's beautiful landscaping. There's all kinds of mammal life now and fish life that thrive in this river. A big part of the change began in the 70s with the passage of the Environmental Protection Agency, when all of the factories and different businesses that were along the river, all of a sudden they had to pay attention to what they were dumping into the water. As a matter of fact, the Chicago River is cleaner today than it's been in probably at least 150 years. We had our first...
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about half a mile to your next turn.
Another one sometime next month, so it's been your dream to take a swim in the Chicago River. The timing is good. And hopefully you have a day like today to be able to do that. So, as we move along, I'm periodically going to take a break for about 2 seconds so I wet my whistle. So enjoy. It's such a gorgeous day out.
I'm blown away. I'm like everyone from ESSA.
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about half a mile to your next turn.
Anytime you see balconies that look like this where they're hanging from the structure, that's generally a pretty good indication that the building has been adaptively reused for something else. So there's West Richmond warehouse that we adaptively reused it into condos, and just like the Kinsey Park townhomes, those red brick townhomes that we just passed. Now again, the river walk has become an amenity because it faces the river. So the cleanup factor is a huge element of the attraction of some of these buildings along this part of the river. And as we come under this next bridge, I want you to look off to the right. You can probably start to see it. Just as we come under the bridge is a very tall building that has what looks like it's a gray and white steel and glass building. And it has what look like up arrow buttons going throughout the center. If you're from here, this is the Ohio, Ontario. It's very loud. So that's the Erie. That building is Erie on the Park. It was done by Those vertical arrows are structural supports, just like you see in the handout with the X's, and this time it's those arrows. And what that allows for is you don't have to have columns throughout your handle. So you have much more of a variety of floor plans. Right in front of it sits this lovely little 3-acre park. It's the Montgomery Ward Park. If you are of a certain age, maybe you're familiar with the name Montgomery Ward. Montgomery Ward was the father of the mail order business. He started this business with a one-page catalog that had 25 items on it that he would be willing to ship anywhere around the country. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. In the space of about 20 years, he grew that business to a 1,000-page catalog and really made this whole business blow up, and they transferred all kinds of goods and services around the country through this business. In today's world, this probably...
Head southeast on Ogilvy, Union, Ill, North Avenue, Ill. It's about 3/4...
Is each floor is 5 inches or 13 centimeters wider or narrower than the floor directly or above.
त्यो सजिलो छ मलाई जानेको बाटो छ यो जस्तै यो के भन्नु पर्दैन म सिधै सट्ट लिएर जान्छु 3-4 चोटि गइसकेँ अनि होटल पहिले बुक गर्ने टक्क नाइट भ्यू बिहान जुरुक्क घुम्ने
Cream-colored building with hanging balconies that have very geometric balconies on it, just past the yellowish buildings. That is the site of the original administrative offices for the Montgomery company. So what they did there, when they put those offices into that building, they also put the building next to it. They had a tunnel that connected the two buildings. We were allowed to see now from this perspective on the river. The first building is you get to see the deco part of an Art Deco building. So as we go by it, You're going to notice right around the first level of this building, they're going to be building it be decorative with the hanging balconies. You're going to notice like mauve-colored bas-relief images of either butterflies or dragonflies, depending on your imagination. And that allows you to okay, got it, thank you. It allows you to draw your eye upward. When you see these sculptures at the bottom here, they're kind of faded now. They look like a little mauve color. But they also help draw your eyes upward, and you'll see those designs somewhat repeated at the top of the building. Again, that hallmark of an Art Deco building. Where that blue barges and the crane is, that's the other part of this facility. There was a tunnel that connected it. That was the warehouse of the Montgomery Ward Company. Look how long that building goes. It probably goes for about 2 to 3 blocks long. What they used to do is they would have gentlemen called pickers who would go up and down the shelves of those long buildings and get the materials and the goods that people had ordered and then put them into their packaging and across the United States. It was not a very efficient way to do things. So what they did was they put these men on roller skates. They went up and down the aisles. They were called pickers. It was a long-time urban legend that these guys wore roller skates. Archival imagery and photographs showed pictures of these men dressed in their three-piece suits with their roller skates on, who went up and down all the way up those 2 and 3 story blocks long here. Normally we would go up a little bit further, but this is just a reminder, very much so, that this is a working river, this barge coming towards us. Normally we would go past this, but that's going to make us turn around a little bit earlier. So, with that being said, you'll probably notice this construction here and this construction here. Both of these are huge projects that are about to become a part of the city of Chicago that they're trying to turn into the next entertainment district called the River. So the first one where that yellow scaffolding is part of the old Freedom Center for the Tribune Company. It was their Frenchie Point plant and distribution center. They're turning into a Universal Studios haunted, horror unleashed, 365-day-a-year haunted house facility. One of the country is in Las Vegas, and that's going to be right next to this Bally's. Realism and decorative ornamentation. So you see on the bridge, there are urns on all 4 of the bridge houses that have a lot of ornamentation. If you look at each of the bridge houses, if you were to walk around them, they have bas-reliefs of different scenes from Chicago's history over the years. Bas-relief sculptures are low-relief sculptures. If you think about a coin and how they have little sculptures on them or etchings, that's what bas-relief sculpture is. Then I want you to look at the left side of the boat. There is a huge building with a big tower or temple at the top of it with arched columns just underneath it. This building is London House, Chicago. It's a tan-colored building. It was completed in 1923 by Alfred Alschuler. This is another super example of the
In 200 feet, you will arrive at First Lady.
Building. There's a few things that stick out. You see the ornamentation.
Head toward River Esplanade. It's about 226 feet to your next turn.
You see all kinds of sculptures and decoration throughout the building.
You're still on the correct route. It's about minus 758 feet to your next turn.
Our first example of something called adaptive reuse. And adaptive reuse simply means a building started off with one purpose and now has another purpose in its life. So this building started off as the corporate headquarters for the London House Accidents and Guarantee Company, which was a maritime insurer. Of course, because of all the maritime traffic we had on the Chicago River, it made sense for them to have offices here. Today, this building is a hotel.
Head toward River Esplanade. It's about 500 feet to your next turn.
Enjoy something like this. It's a great place to go have a drink or enjoy the Chicago skyline right up there at the top of the building. The next building after this one that we're going to talk about is also a tan building on that side of the river, the left side of the river. That is that same Beaux-Arts style of architecture. This time, though, you have a very
In 150 feet, turn left toward North Michigan
Now
Avenue.
you have 4 temples, one on each one of these 4 corners. This building is 35 East Wacker. It was completed in 1926 by Yaver and Dinkelberg. It's also known as the Jewelers Building because there was a very concerted effort by the developers of that building to get the jewelers to move over from Jewelersboro, which is in the Loop, to this part.
Head northeast on LaSalle, Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill.
To use
It's about 351 feet to your next turn.
People then drive their cars directly onto those elevators or lifts, and then they could take those lifts right up to their very own floor where they could park their car. It didn't work that well though, unfortunately, so most of you stayed over in that part of the city.
Head northeast on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about 500 feet to your next turn.
It was in place that Al Capone went to and visited. However, we threw that theory because by 1926 he was enjoying the comforts of the United States government someplace else. It's just about to undergo a...
In 200 feet, turn left onto Chicago Riverwalk.
The lighting at the top and doing some of the most striking in the city, so come back in a couple of years and hopefully you'll really get to enjoy that. By now, most of you have probably either enjoyed the Riverwalk or walked along the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk was completed in 2014.
Head northeast on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about 800 feet to your next turn.
There was a woman by the name of Carol Loxmarty. What's interesting about the Riverwalk is there are rooms in between each of these bridges, and each of these rooms has its own distinct reason for being. So, once you're coming up to those...
Head east on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about 1,000 feet to your next turn.
The building above it, though, that dark gray and light gray building with some silver bars in the windows, is our first example of something called postmodernism. So that very first building we talked about, the Fidelity building, the modernist building that had no ornamentation, we have now moved into postmodernism, and this building has windows that are different sizes and shapes. It extrudes on the corners. It's got those silver bars on the windows, which are almost like little pieces of jewelry throughout the building. It's the home of the Leo Burnett Ad Agency, which is an ad agency that's very well known in Chicago.
Head east on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
That's your first example of postmodernism. That's another style we're going to talk about a lot. Right next to it here is a lighter color building with the number 55 at the top of it. This is an example of something called Brutalism.
Head toward Chicago Riverwalk. It's about 226 feet to your next turn.
It's a style of architecture where they use raw materials on the outside of the building. It's very distinctive because it is so different from just about everything else you see along here. It's a fun building to talk about.
Head east on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about a quarter mile to your next turn.
Now, up here on your left is another tan building, if you like our tan buildings here in Chicago, that looks like a chair with straight arms or a throne shaped to it. This is the LaSalle Wacker building.
In 200 feet, turn left onto West Wacker Drive.
29 by Halliburton Roof and the Boring Lumber. It's got a setback in the middle of the building. There's a reason for that. This is our first example of an Art Deco building. This Art Deco building has a couple of the hallmarks of anything Art Deco, which is it draws your eye upward, and it has that setback, because if you think about when this building...
Head northwest on LaSalle Clark, Ill, Mag Mile, Ill. It's about 128 feet to your next turn.
Nor did they have air conditioning. So you needed to figure out different ways to get in more natural air and light. The way they did that was through the use of these setbacks. Again, we're going to have a number...
Ill, LaSalle Clark, Ill.
There is what looks
It's
like
about 600 feet to your next turn.
It's very intentional because, again, it's a reference to all of the bridges here in the Chicago area. I also want to point your attention out to the porthole looking